Most of the times it's hard. Well, no, she didn't say good. It's when it's hard. Now she wants to tell me something. Yeah, Mariam, go ahead.
بایستم.
She said, wait.
چی بگم؟
بگو. گفت زندگی برای تو یک زن ایرانی چجوری است؟ همین الان در یوتیوب هستیم داریم اینترویو میکنیم. بفهم.
خب میدونی مثلا بعضی موقع ها که چه میدونم میخوای بری بیرون، حالا از لحاظ پوشش میگم، تابستونه، هوا گرمه و باید سریع به لباس مارتو کفش شلوار بی. و وقتی میری اونجا مثلا بیرون خیلی گرما زده میشی یا حتی نمیتونی باد خودت بزنی یا مثلا حالا پیرنتون. و وقتی میری خیلی باید مواظب، حالا مثلا جایی بیرون نباشه، اندامت خیلی و نگاه چیز مردان این یکیش از لحاظ پوشش و از لحاظ محدودیت ها.
آقا یکی سب کن، من با ترجمه کنم.
خیلی بیرون باشی،
من گفتم
تا
ترجمه
دیر وقت نمیتونی با دوست جنس مخالفت رفت آمد.
سب کن داشتم اینترویو حالا با لازم ترجمه کنم دیگه. Okay, so she said when you Ethan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so she said that sometimes when you go out and it's hot, so it's hard to dress up, and also sometimes she has to make sure her body is covered because nothing can't be shown, and sometimes people stare at her, so she doesn't like to stare sometimes like at the clothes she's wearing.
Sure. Okay. I mean, that's a good answer. I'm not sure how to respond.
That's fine, because she was going to say more.
Okay.
بفرما بازم بگی بشتر
بگم؟
بفرما.
خب بعد مثلا توی یکی قوانین اصلی حالا کشور اینه که حق فرزند با بابا یکیشه و اینکه خود فامیلی بچه رو به نام بابا میزنن کلن. مثلا این دومی و اینکه دخترها اصلا چجوری بگم خیلی سخته، ولی خب از یه لحاظم آسون که نمیخوای مثل پسر رو بری شغل حتما پیدا کنی، ولی خب حالا جامعه جور که هم مرد هم زن باید کار کنن تا بتونن زندگی رو چرخونن، ولی وظیفه زن نیست. خب و اینکه درس خوندن تو بعضی از شهرها واقعا غیر ممکنه واسه دختر، یعنی مثلا خانواده عقایدشون جوریه که نباید درس بخونی، باید شوهر کنی، یا مثلا نباید رفت آمد کنی. البته اینا خیلی کمپی شهرهای کوچیک‌تر اینجوریه، ولی خب تو شهرهای بزرگتر هم مشکلاتی هست. مثلا دخترایی که بی سرپناهن میرن کارهای دست به کارهای بد میزنن، یه خود تو با این میخوابن با اون میخوابن که پول در بیارن و این خیلی بده. اینو ترجمه کن.
Okay, wow, so she said a lot. Okay, so she said in some ways actually...
Yeah, that was quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. So she said in some ways it's actually easy for women because they don't have to be the, providers. So, the man is the head of the household. So,
Sure.
Yeah, so they get that advantage where they don't have to look for a job. Although she says with the economic situation in Iran, nowadays both people have to get jobs in order to provide for the family. And then she says right now though some women are struggling so much that they have to do stuff like prostitution. And see, when she said that you could I could tell that there was even cultural shame with that, even though obviously again this is one of those things that in the West I don't want to say we praise prostitution, but
I mean, I praise it. I don't care.
I know, but that's the thing. But we're at that point right now where it's no longer shameful. In fact, I feel like it's if you shame them culturally, everybody would attack you. You know what I mean? Even in Canada, actually.
I mean, I guess like the question that I would have that since she's talking about prostitution, like, is that actually a thing? And like, if it is, why is it? Second, even if it has positive, societal, are you going to reconcile those positive, affections with your religious belief?
Okay, that's a good question, and this is where things get really interesting. میگه که صدری
آره
من بهش گفتم وقتی تو گفتی مثلا بعضی زنها باید برن با دیگران بخوابن، خب این بهش گفتم که تو وقتی اینو گفتی اصلا تو طوری گفتی اصلا چیز بدی، خب
نه چیز بدی نیست چون اونا نیاز دارن به پولش.
نه گوش بده خب ولی کلا میگم خب آدم یه کسی اگر انقدر زندگیش بد داشت که مجبور به دیگران بخوابه که پول بسازه، این خودش چیز یعنی یه جای پایینی رفته تو زندگیش، درسته؟
تو ایران کار قشنگی نیست این مثلا، ولی خب از رو ناچاری این کارو کنن واقعا.
خب همین و منم خودم الان چون من واقعا خودم یه ایرانی کانادایی هستم، برای منم میگه آره این چیز خوبی نیست که یارو مجبوره چیز کنه، ولی این پسره این پسره کاملا خارجی امریکاییه و
خب ببین بهش بگو که ایرانی خیلی غیرتی هن.
گوش بده اون میگه اون میگه اصلا اون تنفروشی چیز خوبی اتفاقا، خب این اصلا خیلی دیدش با ما ایرانی فرق میکنه. I promise I am. Okay. Relax. But there's a giant cultural difference between you and Mariam. And I literally feel like I am the bridge because I understand literally both sides. I feel like the avatar of this right now. But anyway, Mariam. Okay, so here's the thing. این میگه چیز خوبیه، خب؟ و میگه تو مثلا چرا فکر کنی چیز بدی که مجبوره تن فروشی میشه؟ چون برای الان خیلی از غربی‌ها اصلا یارو حتی وقتی فقیرم نیست میره تن فروشی چون پول خوبی میسازه.
میدونم.
برای همین این اصلا این فرق فرهنگ دیگه.
ایران قبول نکردن. بذار بگم بقیه‌شو. بگم. و اینکه به نظر من شخص خودم ایرانی‌ها دارن عقایدشون رو آپدیت میکنن یه جورایی. مثلا تو شهرهای بزرگتر این چیزایی که گفتم کمتر پیش میاد که مثلا یه دختر بخواد نتونه تا دیر وقت بیرون باشه، چون اکثر دخترها تو مثلا شهر بزرگتر تا دیر وقت بیرونن، رفیقای جنس مخالف هم دارن، خیلی هم خوش میگذرونن. ولی هنوز که هنوزه این فرهنگ مثلا غالب نگرفته که تو همه جای ایران اینجوری باشه. خب و اینکه اصلا تو بعضی شهرها هستن که دختر رو بدونی که خودش بخواد میدن شوهر توی سن کم و توی سن کم هم بچه دار میشه. خب اینا واسه شهرهای کوچیکه، میدونی مثلا واسه اونا که عقایدشون هنوز قدیمیه، وگرنه مثلا خانواده هایی که حالا خیلی عقایدا فرق کرده، حالا این چیزایی که میگم خیلی کم پیدا میشه ولی باز هنوز هست.
خب نه آقا مریم جان یه چیزی بگم، تو اگه یه مرد تن فروش بود تو باش بازم عروسی میکردی الان؟
Okay. Can you just tell me what she said?
Yes, I will. Just give me 1 second because I think she's I'm not saying she's lying to me, but I think she's changing her words a little bit.
Okay, like, can you just give me like 1-to-1 what she said generally?
Okay, yeah, but I'm trying to get one of her thing because she literally said that, oh, in Iran they're culturally behind. They haven't came to accept prostitution yet. But that's my thing where I feel like, first of all, prostitution shouldn't be acceptable. I'm sorry, Ethan, but prostitution should not be something. Oh yeah. Oh, you're about to get married, and then someone's like, oh, what is it?
The question that I was asking is why, right? Like, it's less about whether or not it's acceptable and more about, you know, why it is or why it isn't. Right?
Right. Okay, I'll get to
I
it.
would say it's acceptable. You would disagree, right? And that's fine. But that's, you know, the pertinent disagreement, right? Is
Okay, Ethan, would you marry a woman that was a prostitute?
yes.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna ask her the same question because if she says yes, I genuinely would not believe her. But let me see. Mariam.
بله.
خب نکات یک مرده تو سری ارزی کنی درسته؟
She said yes, didn't she?
نه no مریم تو دوست داری یه روزی عروسی کنی؟
الان نه ولی بعداً.
یه روزی گفتم یه روزی.
I wish I spoke Farsi so I could phrase the question in the way that
Yes.
I want it.
Okay, fuck you. تو پس گفتی خب تو گفتی یه روزی میخوای عروسی کنی درسته؟ یه روزی میخوای مادر بشی، یه روزی میخوای زن بشی درسته؟
آره.
خب
The fact that you have to phrase it 3 times is kind of...
No, because I'm asking my original question. No, I'm asking my original question. That's why.
Still indicative.
خب مریم
ببین من اگر وایسا گفتم که این جوریه که مثلا اونا میرن تنفروشی میکنن، من نگفتم چیزی بدیه، گفتم اونا انقدر شرایط جامعه واسه شون فراهم نیست و مثلا از رو ناچاری میرن این کار میکنن. داشتم شرایط بدشون میگفتم، یعنی اینکه توی شرایط سختی هستن که دست به این کار میزن.
آره درسته، من منظورتم میفهمم خب، ولی من این دفعه من احساس کنم تو داری به من نه که داری به من دروغ میگی، فکر نمیگم دروغ میگی، ولی احساس کنم تو به من بعضی چیزا رو داری غایب میکنی خب، چون یه چیزی دیگه هم الان داره شده. تو حاضری با یک مردی در آینده عروسی کنی که وقتی جوان بود تن فروشی میکرد.
اگر داشته باشه آره، و اگر اون کار رو کنار گذاشته باشه و بدونم که اون کار رو از نیاز مالیش انجام داده، آره شاید هم از رو نیاز مثلا جنسیش هم بود مثلا کاری کنه.
خب یعنی جدا میگی دیگه، با من لطفا درکی طرف نزنی.
نه جدی میگی، واقعا دوست داشتن این چیزا رو نمی...
خب porn استریم چیه؟
Okay, can you please explain what's going on?
I no, because you keep interrupting. Let me just get to this.
I'm not interrupting. I gave you 5 minutes.
No, this is important. Although maybe we need to re-edit this video or something. Okay. مریم خانم.
بله.
porn استریم چیه؟
بله.
خب تو حاضری با یک مردی که پورنستار بود عروسی کنی؟
این واقعا توی ایران غیر ممکنه. خب
نه عزیزم، ولی تو مثلا یه روزی با یک کسی آشنا میشی تو دیسکورد، یه جایی آشنا میشی، هم عاشق میشید و پول میده میاره.
آره نه منظورم آره تو ایران هم هست که مثلا حالا رابطه خیلی داشتن ولی خب بازیگر نبودن، ولی تو واقعیت انجام میدادن. خیلی هم پسر همینجورن. خب آره اگر واقعا دوستش داشته باشم و بدونم اونم دوستم داره، آره.
خب پس تو واقعا خیلی از ایرانیایی که تا حالا باشون حرف زدیم خیلی فرق میکنی و ازت خوشم میاد. بذار یه چیزی بگم، من خودم حاضرم با یک زنی که مثلا قبلا پورنستار بود عروسی کنم، ولی من هیچ وقت با یک زنی که تن فروش بود هیچ وقت نمیخوام عروسی کنم. خب
ببین آدمی که کارشو بذاره کنار به خاطر تو خیلی ارزش داره تا اونی که تا حالا دست به هیچ کاری نزده و پاک باشه و به خاطر تو مثلا میدونی چی میگم، مثلا یه آدمی که سالمه مثلا هیچ عیبی نداره و میره باهاش ازدواج میکنی، ارزش اونی که به خاطر تو تغییر میکنه بیشتر از اون آدم سالم است، میدونی؟
نه منظورتو میفهم، ولی نکن با زن ایرانی راست میگی فرق میکنه چون یاد بیچاره مجبور شده باشه، ولی بعضی از زنها تو خارج ببخشید به خصوص تو کانادا و امریکا که انقدر برای زنها این همه امکانات هست نیاز نیست تن فروشی بکنن. خب و همین من اگه کسی تن فروشی کرده نه من نمیخوام باهاش عروسی کنم، ولی ایرانی باشه اون یه داستان دیگه است و اون میتونیم بعدا حرف بزنیم. حالا خیلی جالب این آقا ایتن، اسم پسر ایتن هستش. ایتن جوابش رو من به ایتن پرسیدم که تو حاضری با یک کسی قبلا تن فروشی میکرد تو حاضری باشه عروسی کنی؟ آقای ایتن هم گفت آره و تو هم به من گفتی آره. بر همین چون جفتتون به من گفتید آره این خیلی برای من جالب بودش. حالا
ببین وقتی میگی قبلا یعنی مثلا دیگه از این کار دست کشیده. خب
آره درست.
و اون گذشتهش مهم نیست چون ما تو گذشته اون نبود.
درست.
و ما میخوایم از اون زمانی که درست شده یعنی اون یه آدم جدیدی شده خب به خاطر تو و این خیلی ارزش داره. من واقعا اگر همچین آدمی باشه واقعا میگم پشتش هم و حمایتش میکنم.
باشه هستی. بعد حالا سوالش بود فکر کنی چرا تو ایران تن فروشی رو بد میبینن؟
Hey guys.
Hey, we're doing an interview right now on YouTube. It's
به
live.
خاطر اینکه ببین ایران به خاطر پوله تمام این دخترای حالا ببین 1% شاید از این دخترایی که مثلا حالا تنف کنن شاید از به خاطر لذت باشه ولی بیشتریشون به خاطر یا آیفونه یا به خاطر خرس بزرگه یا به خاطر کادو ولنتاینه یا به خاطر ماشینه، به خاطر این چیزاست که مثلا این کارا رو
خب نه حالا
خب دیگرانم اینو بد میدونن چون شرایط اونو درک نمیکنن. مثلا دختر 20 ساله‌ای که میبینه همه رفیقاش مثلا آیفون دارن خودش نداره، خب وقتی چاره‌ای نداره نه باباش بهش پول میده نه خودش میتونه بره سر کار پول جمع کنه بره این کارو میکنه. خب جوونه نمیفهمه. بعدم
میگم چرا
چه کسایی بس یه هم گوش کن چه کسایی اونو چیز میکنن مثلا چه میگن اونو بد میدونن، کسایی که تا حالا دست به این کار نزدن یا مثلا کسایی که از بیرون میبینن این قضیه رو.
Okay, Ethan, I'm sorry for the long conversation.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like you
I was
want
about
to
to
translate or no?
Yes. Okay, so basically, I had to get down to the nitty gritty. I asked her, would she ever marry? Because I asked her, does she want to be a mother and wife someday? She said yes. I asked her, okay, would she ever marry a man that used to be a prostitute? And she said, yeah, as long as he stopped, yes. And then I said, would you ever marry a man that was a porn star? And she said, yeah, as long as he stopped, yes. And then I told her a little side thing that I said, okay, personally, yes, I would marry a woman that used to be a porn star or has an OnlyFans or something like that. But I would never marry a woman that used to be a prostitute. So I found it fascinating because let me tell you, out of all the Iranians I've ever spoken to, because I told you I've been in these Iranian servers for a long time, and she said that like all of them told me they would never marry a woman that used to be a porn star or a prostitute. Like they almost look at those two as the same thing, which as Westerners, I think the three of us, me, you, and Joe, I don't think we look at prostitutes and porn stars the same thing at all.
No.
Exactly. Now, Ethan, I found it fascinating that
I look at them all as sex workers.
Okay, well, no, this is where it gets really interesting. This is where the culture shock gets in. That's why, like, if you guys spoke Farsi,
Yeah,
your culture
like,
is gonna get
this is the
shocked.
question that I was asking. I was asking her like what she thought about people having sex with other people for money, right? Like at the end of the day, like that's what I was asking.
Right. Okay. And then her response to me was, some women do it for fun, some women do it. Oh no, not some. She said like literally 1% do it for fun, 99% are just desperate for money.
Which is true, but like I don't know. Damn, I wish I spoke Farsi because like then I could ask, like a more nuanced question, right? Which is like, how do you feel about that, right? Like that's the secondary question. Like, how do you feel about it? Like, yes, some people do it for money, but like, how do you feel about people doing it?
Well, that's the funny thing. She's such a rare specimen because she's the only one that that told me. Again, she is not super anti this. Even though, again, every single Iranian I've ever spoken to is very anti this stuff. So honestly, we caught a gem over here because.
Yeah, well, like even not with you, like I know a couple people who are Iranian, and yeah, I agree.
Well, okay, just so you know, most Iranians that live in the West, they just call themselves Iranian because they're not culturally Iranian. Let's be serious. They speak Farsi and they assume, okay, I'm Iranian.
So, at least one of the two people I was mentioning are like culturally Iranian.
Who?
I mean, the homie, but his parents are no, like someone I know in real life.
Me?
His parents are from Iran, so.
Oh, interesting. Well, his parents are from Iran. He didn't grow up in that country, that environment.
Yeah, he didn't necessarily grow up in it, but like they still try and maintain Iranian tradition. Like I always ask them questions about it.
Right. Okay. So let me go back to the other thing. She's very. Sorry, Joe. Did you want to say something?
Oh no, not really. I'm just listening. I know like a couple people who are Iranian, but I don't know too much about them. They're just kind of acquaintances.
Okay, that's fine. Now, back to the why though. She kind of skipped the why a lot. So let me try to get it again. Mariam Hassi.
Well, yeah, that was my issue.
هستم.
Skip the why. Yeah.
میگه چرا فکر کنی مثلا جامعه ایران خیلی ضد پورنستار و تنفروشی و این چیزهای دیگه است ولی بدون پورنستار و تنفروشی یکی نیست. مثلا من خودم بهت گفتم من حاضرم با یه زنی که قبلا پورنستار بود عروسی کنم ولی هیچ وقت من با یه کسی که تنفروش بود توی خارج هیچ وقت نمیخوام عروسی کنم. حالا تو چرا جامعه ایران؟
خب ایرانی‌ها میدونین که شیعن، خب یعنی اینکه اونا مسلمونن. خب و حالا مثلا اگه یه زن و مرد با هم مثلا چیز نباشن، به هم چی میگن، حلال نباشن، یعنی اینکه بینشون صیغه نخونده باشه، این حروم به حساب میاد. به خاطر همینه که این چیزها رو بد میدونن.
خب پس به خاطر دینشون. خب اوکی.
So why does she think what she thinks?
Okay, she said that I almost spoke Farsi to you. She said that Iran, they are Muslim, and I don't know if you heard her say Shia. She specifically said they're Shia Muslim. So she said that it's mainly because of religious reason that they look so down upon this. And you know what's really funny to me is I found it super fascinating that she says Iran, the women, the people are so. She used the word not conservative. She used the word regressive, so the opposite of progressive. She said that they haven't progressed into accepting that, and I'm sorry to say, I do think accepting porn stars and OnlyFans and stuff.
Like a thing?
What?
Is that like a thing? Because like my homie who is from Iran also says regressive.
It's possible. Although in English people use that too, so yeah.
Well, no, I know that it's like a normal word, but like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird that like multiple Iranian people are using that word. Kind of interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. So, but to me, it was just fascinating that she said that because to me, yes, it is progressive to accept porn stars as a profession. I 100% agree with that. However, I'm sorry, to me, prostitution should not be acceptable. But that could be a whole different topic. So I found it so fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I'll argue with that. I'll argue with you on that. But like,
That's not what we're talking about. I just want to know what she thinks, right?
Right, and that's the funny thing is that she literally used the word like she literally said, "Oh, they haven't progressed into accepting prostitution," and I found it so fascinating, like as if like really like that's a progress. Accepting prostitution is a form of progress.
And I just wish that I spoke the language.
It's fine. Let's go back to. Is there any other?
Like I would like to ask her again. Like it's a why, right? Like, why does she think that? Like, why is prostitution a suboptimal solution, right? Like,
well, she just said it. She said it is mainly because of religion and desperation.
Okay, but like religion isn't an answer to the question.
I mean,
It is.
if you
It is.
understand, if you understand anything in
question.
Islam, you can answer that question for yourself. I feel.
Well,
Yeah.
but I'm not asking from Islam perspective.
What do you mean?
I'm saying
Then
like
choose
look at the
again.
utility, right?
Right. Okay. Wait. So she wants to say something. Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
ببین مثلا تو ایران اینجوریه که تو اگر مثلا میخوای با یکی بری رابطت برقرار کنی میتونی ازدواج دائم نکنی و ازدواج موقت چیزی مثل صیغه خب میخونی مثلا ساعتی روزانه ماهانه سالانه اینجور چیزی هست از این طریق حلاله آره
I didn't even مثلا نمیدونستم این جدیده؟
نه این خیلی وقته واقعیه
Okay. Okay. She just told me something that even I never heard of. She said apparently if you want to have sex with somebody, there is a kind of a thing like a religious temporary marriage, which is I've never heard of this. And I'm a very hardcore Iranian. My dad was in the Iranian government, so I'm so surprised I've never heard of this. And yeah, so apparently, yeah, so you guys could get a kind of a temporary marriage, so you guys could have fun and sex and stuff like that. But
Oh my.
ولی خب با دخترایی که مثلا تا حالا این کارو نکردن یعنی هنوز دست نخوردن خوبیت نداری این کار کنی چون مثلا اگر این کار کردی صیغت رو تموم شد بعدا دختره یه مدرکی داره میتونه که بره مثلا بگه آقا این کار قام کرده که بیاد باش ازدواج دائمی کنه ولی خب کلا واسه دخترها یا واسه زنا مثلا این چیز بدی نیست
wow, okay.
با اینکه مثلا ببین با اینکه مثلا هنوز هم بد به حساب میاد مثلا به یه چشمت با یه دید دیگه نگاش میکنن ولی خب باز حلاله یعنی این از نظر اسلام اوکیه ولی مردم باز اونو مثلا یکم با چشم بد دید
Wow. Okay. So basically, she said that first of all, okay. Again, this was another culture shock to me. She used the word virgin very weirdly. Again, and this is for someone like me who's kind of grew up in Canada and Iran. I don't really care if a girl's a virgin or not. You know, like I don't really judge on that. But the way she said virgin, I just found it very fascinating. She literally used it as like touched, like untouched versus touched. It was a very fascinating thing. That's why I wish you guys spoke Farsi because it was fascinating the way she said it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I wish I spoke Farsi, so.
But okay, so anyway, so she said that that whole temporary marriage thing, it only works if the girl is not a virgin in the first place. Because yeah, if she is a virgin, she can. I mean, she technically can, but she shouldn't get those temporary marriages because she's a virgin.
So if virginity, the first question, right, is if virginity has something to do with touch, right?
Well, no. The word untouched, I just made that up. But like the word untouched is kind of like virgin, untouched. You have never been. Your window has not been.
I'm not trying to put words in people's. But if it does have something to do with touch, I don't know. That creates some problems, but it's fine.
Well, yeah. Also, one of the things earlier she said, I'm sorry that I didn't mention earlier, because there's so much that she talked. She also talked about
it was like 5 minutes. So.
Well, that's the funny thing. She also said the fact that some women get married super young, and that's a bad thing. I found that again very interesting. I'm guessing she's a very progressive Iranian, because
Yeah, I mean, it seems that way because, like, why would she think that if she wasn't progressive? I guess.
yeah, no, I know, because the funny thing is, conservatives in America and even small parts of Canada, they actually don't think it's a bad thing if a girl gets married at 21 or something. And I don't even think that's a bad thing.
Sure.
Although when she said super young, I think she was talking about 17. So
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I had in my head when I was conceptualizing.
Isn't it illegal for anybody in the West to get married under 18?
Well, it depends
No.
on where you are, but
Wait, it's not? What country is legal to get married under 18?
well, the
There's quite a
U.S.
few states where it's completely legal to get
Yeah.
married as
Like I
soon
said,
as
yeah,
like
it depends
14.
on state, right? So like, I don't know. Like, I grew up in Alaska, right? And if you're in Alaska, then yeah, it's totally legal. Because age of consent is 16. So
Oh.
Sometimes you need like parents' permission, but no, child marriages are actually a really big issue here in the States.
yeah, that's why I was using Alaska as an example, because Alaska is a state where it doesn't matter, right?
Okay, wait. Okay, let me ask her a question for a second. تو وقتی گفتی بعضی زنها خیلی زود عروسی میکنن و چیز خوبی نیست، منظورت زنه پایین 20 ساله یا پایین 16 ساله؟
هر دوش.
اوکی.
مثلا دخترایی که هست دخترایی که 13 سالگی 14 سالگی میدنشون شوهر و نمیشه گفت چیز خوبی نیست اگر اون دختر خودش راضی باشه.
In like 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Joe can ask. Don't worry, Joe can ask. Actually, Joe would be very interesting because Joe is an extremely progressive American. So I'm interested what question she has for an actual Iranian woman currently living in Iran right now.
Yeah, ask her, please.
Okay.
What's that again?
Yeah. So wait, let her talk. But go
Out of
back.
it, and I would.
بگم؟
بفهم.
خب ببین اگر اون دختره حالا تو هر سنی اصلا فرقی نمیکنه چه 30 سالش باشه چه 40 سالش چه 10-12 سالش، ولی اگر اون دختره خودش رضایت داشته باشه بخواد هیچ اشکالی نداره تو هر سنی، ولی اگر که به زور بخوان وادارش کنن که مثلا ازدواج کنه خب واقعا این ظلمه.
Okay, now you can do this in Harajuku. Okay, so she said, I'm translating for people watching on YouTube, that she said that if a girl is forced into marriage, that is evil and disgusting. And obviously, I think any culture would agree with that. That's not really a West versus East thing. But she said, but the fascinating thing is that she said, but if that girl is okay with it, then that's fine. That's something super fascinating because to me, if a 14-year-old in America or Canada said that, oh, I want to get married, I even societally, I don't think we would be okay. Legally, I think it's illegal. So in so many different ways.
I think that I know where the cultural divide comes from.
Go ahead.
So when I was in 11th grade, I took a multicultural literature class, and there's I don't know if we had any Iranian students, but we definitely had quite a few Middle Eastern students in my class.
Okay.
But we talked a lot about the difference between high context and low context cultures, and about how different amounts of context can add different amounts of responsibility onto people. In really high context cultures, so in cultures where you're expected to kind of know all the rules, know what to say, know how to act in front of everyone else, you know, there's a lot more responsibility put on younger people. Here in the United States, we have a very, very low context culture. You know, we put caution hot on cups. You know, people aren't necessarily expected to know things. We have very strict driver's exams, and everything is kind of standardized, so everyone always knows what everything means, but everything's written down. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know that much about Iranian culture, but I'm guessing that the culture over there is a little bit more high context than America. And Western cultures tend to be a lot more low context. And so we tend to put less responsibility onto children to make decisions such as marriage, which is why our age of consent laws tend to be so high, because we don't expect these children to have the context. They have lower context about what things like marriage and stuff entails. I'm guessing that's probably where the difference comes from.
That's actually
That's
such a
why
fascinating thing. Yeah, what you just said, I'm glad I actually didn't know that before. Because that's the thing. Oh, hey, Shadi, we're doing an interview live on YouTube right now. Okay, so here's the thing. So she said that there is a difference between high context. Oh, it was a Farsi. I have to speak Farsi. I don't know. I was retelling what you said in English. Mariam, هستی؟
هستم.
آره، اوکی. گفتش که فرهنگ زیاد کانتکست فارسیش نمیم بذار پیدا کنم بهت میگم. فرهنگ زیاد کانتکست به کم کانتکست. کانتکست یعنی یه چیز نوشته شده. خب بعد میگه فرهنگ غرب، یعنی وقتی داشته نکن کانادا، امریکا و بیشتر اروپا و استرالیا تقریبا مثل همن. خب اینا فرهنگشون یه جوری که ما خیلی چیزا رو نوشتیم. خب و مثلا قانونا نوشته شده کجا باید چیکار کنی و اینا. برای همین اصلا مثلا زمان عروسی اصلا اینجا حق نداری بعضی از جاها اصلا پایین، بعضی از کشورها پایین 18 ساله عروسی کنی یا پایین 16 ساله عروسی کنی. ولی میگه حدس میزنه و فکر کنم حدسش هم درسته. میگه ایران فرهنگش چیزی که همه قانونا رو باید بدونن، یعنی اصلا قانونای نانوشته زیاد داره ایران چون همه باید بدونن. بر همین تو ایران تو خود گفتی، مثلا تو خود به من گفتی اگه مثلا یه دختر 16 ساله واقعا دوست داره عروسی کنه اشکالی نداره عروسی کنه، درسته؟
اگر خودش بخواد مشکلی نداره، هم خودش بخواد هم خانوادهش.
آره کلمه کانتکست، آره همین کانتکست تو گوگل میگه متن نوشته، فرهنگای متن نوشته و فرهنگای نامتن نوشته. میگه مال ایران متن نوشته نیست، چون یعنی ایران خیلی چیزا رو باید بدونی و اصلا جایی ننوشتن که کسایی که نمیدونن بخونن، یعنی خب همه باید بدونن این چیزا رو. و مثلا تو یه دختر چیز اشکال نداره 16 ساله عروسی کنه، ولی اینجا نه، ما اینجا خیلی بد میبینیم وقتی یه دختر 16 ساله عروسی میکنه. اصلا بعضی وقت اصلا نمیذاریم، اصلا غیر قانونی، اصلا دولت نمیذاره عروسی کنه.
جدیدن گوش بده، جدیدن مثلا سن ازدواج رفته بالا، ولی بازم میگم این چیزایی که دارم میگم مثلا توی بیشتر شهرهای کوچیک پیدا میشه. بعد مثلا سنای ازدواج پایین واسه خیلی قبلا خیلی پایین تر بوده. مثلا قبلا همه دختر 13 ساله یا 14 ساله ازدواج میکردن و خیلی هم عادی بوده و اگر مثلا دختری میشده 18 سالش واسه شون عیب بوده قبلا. خب اما الان اینجوری نیست، به خاطر من حس میکنم به خاطر این شبکه‌های مجازیه که مثلا با فرهنگای همین غرب داریم آشنا میشیم و واقعا من میگم ایران خیلی نمیدونم اصلا به این چیزا اهمیت نمیده، به خیلی به ارتشش و چه میدونم سلاحش و به سیاست خیلی بیشتر از دل مردم اهمیت میده. شاید باورتون نشه ولی خب همه آدما، چرا بگم بیشتر، همه آدما چه پولدار چه بی پول افسردن تو ایران، امیدی ندارن، اصلا هیچ کی دیگه جرئت نداره ازدواج کنه، حالا چه سن پایین چه سن بالا. خاطر اینکه خرج بیرونه، مثلا یه حلقه میخوای بگیری میشه مثلا 20 میلیون، یا مثلا میخوای عقد بگیری 100 میلیون پات در میاد. خب این چه اینو رو بگو.
خب نگاه الان چند تا چیز گفتی. اوکی. She said in Iran recently they're going to increase the age of consent. So they are becoming kind of like that, but right now she said a lot of people in Iran are depressed and sad. Also she said that culturally Iran is a little bit she said they care more about the politics and the military and the culture, less on that lovey-dovey stuff. Although that again is not so different from the West, because we also care about a lot about the politics. Like we became very political. Although you could argue, like maybe 10 years ago, Joe, I think you were old enough to remember. 10 years ago, we barely cared about the politics. You know, I was like, who cares? Who's prime? Like especially as Canadians. Like, who cares who's prime minister, who's president? You know what I mean?
10 years ago?
I would say yeah. How old are you? Wait, Joe, aren't you? I'm pretty sure you're old enough to remember.
I'm 19. I'm old enough to remember.
Barely, yes.
I just, like, at that time, 2011, I must have just started realizing what was going on around me. Maybe it wasn't as much as an American culture, but I know in my household, politics were still a really big deal. So,
okay.
And, like, the area around me, just because of everything that was happening in Detroit at the time, we had a lot of issues with corruption in our government, specifically our local and state. So we were really concerned about it here. I don't know as much about other states. I didn't get more on a national level in terms of watching politics until I was probably about 15.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because I was going to say, 10 years ago...
I was really involved in the first Trump election in 2016. I remember that really vividly. And I was probably like really looking into politics like about a year and a half before that, and then I really got into it. And then when I took in 2017, I got even more into it when I was taking more advanced classes in high school.
Well, this is the thing. You might be another special case, but I could tell you, and I'm also a special case because my dad was actually in the Iranian government. But what's his face? Like 10 years ago, they've had interviews on like literally random Canadians asking them who's the Prime Minister of Canada, and literally the average Canadian didn't even know the name of the Prime Minister. That's how like nonchalant people were.
I knew who the president was in 2011, and when I was like 9, yeah, this was 2011. This was when I really started understanding, because I wrote a letter to President Obama, and I still have it because he wrote me back.
His handler wrote you back in.
But so I remember I was definitely more into stuff that was closely hitting to home. I knew a lot going on in terms of everything going on in terms of gay rights, mostly because my uncle is gay. And
okay, wait. Thank you. No, sorry. I swear to God, I am very curious on your life there, but we're going off topic from the Iranian situation.
Yeah.
Okay, Mariam هستی؟
آره
مریم این میگه تا اینام اینجوری هستن، ولی این میگه آره اینا مثلا به فرهنگ و سیاست و ارتش و اینا خیلی حواسشون هست، ولی این هم یه چیز خاصی، چون 10 سال پیش تو کانادا رفتن تو خیابون از مردم میپرسن اسم نخست وزیر کانادا کیه؟ نصف مردم کانادا اصلا اسم نخست وزیر هم نمیدونستن، انقدر براشون اصلا مهم نبودش، انقدر یعنی چیز بود. ولی آره جدیدن غرب هم اینجوری شده که خیلی حواسشون به سیاست هست، ولی قبلا اینجوری نبود.
آره دیگه مثلا نگاه کن اینجا، خب کرونا اینقدر خیلی بده الان، اوضاع کرونا تو ایران افتضاحه. خب بعد اینکه ولی مثلا عزاداری ها آزاده، مثلا عزاداری امام حسین، خب باید نه که باید بریم مجبور باشی، ولی خب هست تو خیابون هست یه اسکول میرن، ولی رفتن بیرون، شادی، عروسی، جشن مثلا تالارا، جاهایی که مراسم میشه گرفت و اینا رو بستن تا به خاطر کرونا. خب اگر واقعا کرونا واسه شون اهمیت داره باید این عزاداری هم تعطیل کنن، ولی در صورتی که تو این چند سال که کرونا بود اصلا این عزاداری رو کنسل نکردن.
Oh my god، اصلا حرفت قشنگ بود، ولی الان اوکی 1 ساعت داریم اینترویو میکنیم، میتونیم بعدا ادامه بدیم و این حرفتو بذار بهش ترجمه کنم، خیلی قشنگ بود. ولی یه چیزی بگم، این شایلین اتفاقا نظرش در مورد اینا یه ذره با تو اتفاقا میدونم فرق میکنه. مریم خانم قلی زاده چی گفتی؟
قلی زاده.
Can I add something?
Yeah, you can speak Farsi or English. Actually, just so you know, Thursday thinks her name is Jo Malicious. She lives in Iran, but she speaks English really well, so you can actually speak to her anytime as well. What would you like to say?
Oh, you know?
Her name is Shailin.
You know, for Iran or Iran, maybe, I don't know. Putting aside Imam Hussein's stuff is like just betraying their symbol of revolution. Like what they used for their revolution was Islam and everything about that. So when that's why they're making a big deal out of it, even though it will like increase amount of corona between people. You know, they cannot ignore and they cannot like they cannot like ignore it or something or put it aside. You know, if they do that, it's like forgetting what made you who you are. Like Islamic Republic of Iran came and became more powerful and would just overpower our king and put it aside by Islam and using that tool against our king and our people.
اوکی یه لحظه sorry جو give me a second بذار اون حرفی که تو زدی رو ترجمه کنم بذار حرف مریم ترجمه کنم okay Joe.
Yep.
Okay, so Joe said something very interesting about the coronavirus. She said like they cancel weddings and funerals and stuff like that because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I know we have that here in the West. It's not really different for the Iranians, right?
Yeah.
But what she said that was so fascinating is that when it comes to so Shailene just said Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein is just one of the Prophet's grandson, and the Shia Muslims they really emphasize Imam Hussein a lot. Yeah. So she said it was very. Maryam said that they cancel weddings and parties and funerals and everything, but they still allow parades for their religious events, but not funerals. So just only the Islamic Republic religious events. Even though, again, obviously, it's not like the coronavirus makes an exception. Like, oh yeah, when it's a party, the coronavirus doesn't spread, but when it's celebration, it does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was gonna say it's kind of fascinating, and I'm super curious what you think, Joe. But we kind of have that issue in the West because we have a lot of like church services banned in Canada, and a lot of weddings and stuff banned as well. However, your beloved President Obama had a party, did he not?
My first thing I'd like to say is I'm not a huge fan of Obama.
Me neither. Yeah, good. I know.
My second thing I'd like to say is, I mean, I understand the importance of religion, but there's also a part of me that I don't know. I was raised like completely non-religious. Like I had some religious influences in the household. My aunt practices Islam. I wore a hijab in her wedding.
Wait, your aunt is she Sunni Muslim?
I have no idea.
I doubt she's Shia. Where's your aunt from?
She's from the States. She's from Michigan.
Oh, okay. I'll tell.
She married into an Islamic family, and they're Moorish.
Okay.
Iran, Syria.
So they're African. They're African Muslims.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And they definitely seem
Continue.
Not Egypt though. I'd like to clarify.
I know.
I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Mostly like West Africa, I think? Question mark.
Yes, I know. Anyway, get to your point. Yeah. So they cancel weddings, but Obama had a party. Iran did too.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that should have happened. I personally refrain from all things that had to do with large groups of people during that time. I want to say the biggest get-together to date that I've maybe been to... Ooh, I don't even know. I'm going to a concert in like 3 weeks, but the venue I'm going to requires all patrons to be vaccinated. And I wasn't going to go unless that was the case. So, I mean, I understand the importance of religion, but at the same time, it's like, religion versus like actual life.
No, but that's what Shailene was saying. Shailene said that for the Islamic Republic of Iran, it's not just a religion, it's literally part of the revolution. So it's literally part of their identity. The way they took down the monarchy kind of was with religion, so they always remind people, hey, Islam is good, we're the ones who beat the king, we're the ones who beat the monarchy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why that'd be so important and why they wouldn't cancel it. you know, but I also think that plays into, again, my idea of high and low context cultures. You know, in America, we, you know, while Christianity is still, I don't even know if it's the most popular right now. I think most Americans, I understand it's popular, but I think in terms of like, the idea of religion is becoming lesser and lesser in the United States, and I think overall in the Western world, it's still very popular, but you know, there's a very large, significant portion of Americans that identify as non-religious or even atheists, and I think that plays into it a lot. You know, because we have such varying, it is a melting pot, while sometimes it isn't as accepting as sometimes I think people want it to be in terms of how we treat people of varying religions. We still have all groups, I feel, represented here in America. You know, ones that aren't crazy, that is.
Funny. Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Again, what you said... no, wait one second. What you said about low context versus high context culture is very fascinating, and I'm definitely going to do more studies on that, because that's something that I've noticed a lot with Iranians. Like, when I go to these Iranian servers, they expect me to know so many things that I don't. But obviously, recently they've been more accepting. They were like, oh, it's okay, Ali Irani, Ali Kanadai, which means like Ali is from Canada, so he's different. But yeah, no, there's a lot of times where they expect me to know the rules. And that what you just said is so amazing. So you said high context is the ones that everyone's expected to know the rules, and low context is the one that is written.
Exactly. Everyone is supposed to have the context. You're expected to have a high level of understanding of the culture before entering the culture.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Shadi, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the difference between a country like Iran and like United States or Canada is like, let me say it like this. When our politicians speak, like in news and like to the, like when they want to speak to the press, they start with God, continue with God, and end it with God. Everything is combined with religion. They will like make excuses for what they're doing. Or like they say that the reason you're doing this is because of God, Islam, and blah blah blah. So you see, religion is blended with our politics, but in other countries it's not. Like when you see American politics talking, they're like, we're gonna do this, do that, because of this, because of that, and in the end they will say, may the God be with us. But you don't see that in Iran, because religion is a part of our politician, and that makes a difference. That makes why they cannot put aside our like Imam Hussein shit, you know. That's why they can't put it aside, because it's their symbol. It's what gives them power over people. It's what makes them able to use some people's stupidity to have their own dogs and soldiers to work for them, and like it only makes them more powerful, you know. They will sell your religion, and they will get your inner wilderness that they have like soldiers who kill people when they protest against them. And yeah, that's that. It's just how they get more powerful by using our religion, and they cannot put it aside. They cannot.
Okay.
Never and ever. They will not.
Okay, wait.
You say that.
Yeah, she means she means the Islamic Republic, the government. مریم هستی؟
آره.
فهمی الان حرف شالینه فهمیدی؟ شالینه خود برای خود ترجمه میکنی الان؟
خب ببین، من داشتم میگفتم که اسلام برای یک کشور مثل آمریکا و برای یک کشور مثل ایران کاملا متفاوته. چرا؟ اینجوری توضیح میدم که تو وقتی که یک سیاستمدار آمریکایی میبینی که حرف میزنه، اول اینجوری شروع میکنه که ما قراره این کارو کنیم، به این دلایل یه سری منطق و قوانین و غیره رو بیان میکنه و نظرات خودش، و در آخر میگه که امیدوارم که خدا همراهمون باشه، دیگه همچین چیزی. ولی وقتی سیاستمدار ایرانی صحبت میکنه، اول با نام خدا شروع میکنه، بعد میگه من به خاطر خدا و اسلام این کارو میکنم، آخرش با نام خدا و اسلام این تمام میکنه. پس چی؟ اسلام ریشه اصلی قدرت این رژیمه. چرا؟ چون از طریق اسلام خیلی ها رو گول زدن، شستشوی مغزی زدن با اسم خدا و اسلام و پیامبر.
آره
که نوچه دارن. پس چی؟ اینا
تنها سپرشون واقعا همینه، تنها سپرشون همینه، ولی کم کم داره این سپرشون هم از بین میره. اگر توجه کرده باشی دیگه هیچ کس عقاید نداره به این چیزا، اگر هم داره تظاهریه اثر عادته.
عقیده منافع براشون اهمیت نداره، اون عقیده سگشون براشون مهمه. سگشون کیان؟ خودمون هممون میدونیم. پس چی؟ اینا نمیتونن سمبل قدرتشون که همین امام حسین و پیامبرا و غیر است که به اسلام ربط داره رو بیان بیارزشش کنن. هر چیزی باشه میان اونو درست میکنن، میان اونو پا برجا میذارن بمونه، چه عزاداری باشه چه چیز باشه، اصلا براشون مهم نیست. مردم کرونا بگیرن بمیرن، باش طرف داره حال میکنه. ما که همه چی تحریمیم، چیزی که دارویی که وارد ایران میشه دقیقا میگه
مثلا آفرین، مثلا اگر بچه خودشون مریض بشن بگو
ببین نگاه کن چه کسی با اجازه میده که اینو قاچاق کنن؟ اصلا فرق نکرده، ما هنوز تمام محصولات خارجی به وفور قبلا داریم. برای اینکه قاچاق میشه، خود دولت قاچاق میکنه، یه داره پول در میاره، یک از بیماری و فروش دارو هم پول در میاره.
بذار مریم حرف بزنه. بذار مریم
مثلا اگر یک ببین خود سیاستمدارای ایران همشون چه خورده چه ریز چه درشت همشون بهترین واکسنا زدن و معلوم نیست چه واکسنایی دارن به ملت میزنن که حالا یا یارو 2 روز بعد میمیره یا اصلا روش اثر نمیکنه. خب حالا کاری به ایناش نداریم، ولی کشور ایران اینجوری که مثلا خود سیاستمدارا خب نگاه کنی ببینی یکیشون مردن، یکیشون بچهشون آقا اصلا کرونا گرفت بمیره. نه، چرا؟ چون که بهترین داروها، بهترین بیمارستان و بهترین امکاناتو دارن. ولی مثلا یکی مثل خواهر خودم، خب چرا راه دور بریم که بخوایم بگیم دور، خواهر خودم شیمی درمانی میشه و یه دارو باید بخوره که اصلا ایران گیر نمیاد و تحریمه، به خاطر تحریم و نمیاد ایران و اگر بخوایم آزاد بخریم مثلا باید ما این 40 میلیون شاید 60 میلیون بدیم. خب ولی اینا نمیفهمن که همچین چیزی آقا توی ایران هست. شاید خواهر منم تنها نیست، شاید 10,000 نفر دیگه هم اینجوری هستن. خب ولی آیا واسه شون مهمه این که برن مثلا این همه خرج کنن واسه عزاداری امام حسین؟ آیا از درد خواهر من یا 10 تا دیگه کم میشه؟ نه، فقط دارن برای این میکنن که مردمو هنوز تو چنگشون داشته باشن و واقعا هم به نظر موفقن.
بله. Okay, thank you so much for doing this interview. مرسی برای سوال و جوابتون. بذار از این سوال آخر برسم. Joe, do you have any other questions for these Iranian ladies?
Not as of right now. I actually got into a Facebook argument, so...
Yeah, that's fine. No, because all they... Right now all that we're talking about is the fact that right now, again, the government bans weddings, parties, and everything, while, like, their religious and political religious parades are all allowed. And also she says that their government gets the best vaccines for coronavirus, while again the regular person, no, they don't even know. They barely get I personally think they probably get similar vaccines, but I have no proof for or against this idea. Because they could be getting either or. Now here's
I'm guessing probably Pfizer.
Actually, I'm gonna ask. شما داروهاش رو میدونید از کی میاد؟ از فایزر میدونه؟ واکسنتون
چی دارو؟
واکسنتون کدوم کمپانی ساخته میدونید؟ واکسنی که تو ایرانه؟
ما اصلا نمیدونیم.
That's okay. They don't know. They have no idea.
میگن مثلا از این شرکت ساخت، ولی اصلا انقدر ملت به این دولت و به این سیاستی که داره بی‌اعتمادن که اصلا باورشون نمیشه. اصلا من خودم یکی به شخص باور نمیکنم اینا واکسن به من میزنن یا نه، به خاطر همین واکسن نمیزنن.
تو نمیدونی واکسن؟
I think I know how to ask the question. ask them how far apart. Ask them how far apart their doses were. If it's 3 weeks, it's Moderna. No, if it's 3 weeks, it's Pfizer. If it's 4 weeks, it's Moderna.
Well that's the thing.
Can I answer her?
میدونی نه شما مثلا داراتون یکی یکیه یا چند تا به هم میزنی؟
نه باید 2 مرحله بزنیم واکسن ها.
It's not always a definite indicator.
ولی من جوابشو بدم.
Shortening the gap.
نه خب تو نمیدونی شاید تو نمیدونی بین چیز واکسن مگه میدونی
میدونم بابا.
چیه بگو.
You see, I don't know your name is.
Joe. Her name is Joe.
Joe, okay. You know, Joe, we have all kinds of them. Like my brother used Pfizer, as you said. We have all kinds of it, AstraZeneca and all other ones. But like me as an but like it's prioritized. Like my brother, who's a teacher, he can use like Pfizer and AstraZeneca, but me as just a university student, I can't. I have to use the Iranian one or the Chinese one, probably, I don't know. But what Mariam said was that we don't trust our governments. Why? Because we've heard many lies everywhere. They always try to fool us, and we'll be like, what the fuck? What they said was completely false. So even if they say, yeah, you're having a Pfizer vaccine, we don't trust that shit they're telling us, you know. We don't trust it. Is this really Pfizer, or they're just using their own their own vaccine and they're telling us that it's Pfizer, you know, just that. Like we have all types of vaccines here. They're all here, and some people have been vaccinated, but we do not trust what they say they're giving us. That's the point, not if we have the vaccines or not, because we do. You know, that's her point.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Thank you everybody. بچه‌ها مرسی. من ویدیو رو الان فکر کنم 1 ساعت شده تو یوتیوب. حرفات رو دوست دارید بزنید ولی ویدیو رو میخوام از یوتیوب استاپ کنم. I said I stopped the YouTube video but you guys can still talk because this is